What's up, guys? It's Taylor. How are you? It's good to see you. Welcome to the HSM live stream. I got a couple announcements for you guys this week. First thing is we are kind of repurposing after this week, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, we'll see, based on your guys' participation. But we really want to repurpose this time to give you as a student. A lot of parents are watching now too, but if you're a parent, get your kid to do it. We really want students to have a voice and to share what's on their heart. And so we want to have this as a time to where students can exercise their gift in maybe in communication, or even, if they just have something that's on their heart. And so we want to provide this time and space for them to be, equipped and empowered in that way. And so if you are one of those people, if you're watching right now and you're like, man, I feel like I have something that's on my heart that I would love to share or whatever, or maybe you don't, and maybe you just want to, kind of put yourself out there, this is a time that you could do that. And so if you are interested in that, please reach out to a small group leader, Emily or I or Melissa, or even comment in the chat or comment on something on Instagram or something like that, and we would love to get you connected. And so the quicker we get more people to do it, the quicker we get some cool student sermons coming along your way. Second announcement is we have a voluntary student leadership team. And so this is not an exclusive thing. This is open to anyone. And this pretty much looks like, how should I say this? Never mind. I don't know. She's not going to respond. All right. So this is a voluntary student leadership. It's not exclusive. And so if you're interested in being a student leader here at High School Ministry, we would love to empower you in that way. Please come talk to Emily or I or Melissa or a leader again, so we can get you plugged into that. And so, that's another cool announcement. The fall event planning team, if you're interested in planning events in general, specifically the fall event coming up here at the end of October, talk to Judy. You can probably call her, text her, email her, or she'll be at live service tonight. Lastly, we have our feedback form that we would love for you guys to fill out. If you want to fill that out, that way we just do what you guys love. Because it's kind of pointless if you hate it. So please fill out the feedback form, and we would love to hear what you guys think about what we do and what you like, what you don't like. Maybe a couple things what you like, because anyways. All right, we're going to kick it over to the battle box with Em and Juju and Alika.
Let's go. All right, guys. So we got a fun battle box game tonight. It's a true battle. A rap battle. Let's go! So I got Juju over here, and I got Alakazam, and they're going toe-to-toe, rap battling to Dr. Seuss. Let's go! So to kick us off, we're going to be starting with Alakazam. Let's go, girl.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little car, this one has a little star. Hey, what a lot of fish there are. Yes, some are red, some are blue, some are old and some are new. Some are sad and some are glad and some are very, very bad. Why are some so sad and glad and bad? I don't know. Go ask your dad.
Oh, man, that was good, Alakazam. That was good. I like that. Mic drop. All right, let's let Taylor catch his breath real quick. All right, next up is Juju.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little car, this one has a little star. Hey, what a lot of fish there are. Yes, some are red and some are blue. Some are old and some are new. Some are sad and some are very, very glad. And some are even very bad. But why are they sad, glad, and bad? I don't know. Go ask your dad.
Let's go. I'm impressed. I don't know about you guys, but I was impressed by that. That was actually really good. So, I don't know, guys. I don't think I can declare a winner because they're both pretty awesome. But if you guys want, you can put it in the comments. We'll see. But that's it for the battle box. We're going to kick it over to Zach now for Get Your Heart Right.
Hey guys, if you don't know me, my name is Zach, and what I wanted to talk to you about today is how we've been in quarantine for 8 months now. That's been a really long time. And if you have siblings like I do, you know that they can get kind of annoying at times. And so I wanted to share with you a verse that I found this week when I was doing my Bible studies that has really helped me to love them more and to just know that they are also going through the same thing as I do. So in Galatians 5:13, it says, "My brothers and sisters, you were chosen to be free, but don't use your freedom as an excuse to live under the power of sin. Instead, serve one another in love. And the whole law is fulfilled by obeying this one command: love your neighbor as you love yourself." Now, we're going to go over to Taylor for worship.
Alone in my sorrow and dead in my sin, lost without hope with no place to begin. Your love made a way to let mercy come in. When death was arrested and my life began, ash was redeemed, only beauty remained. And my orphan heart was given a name. And my morning grew white, and my feet rose to dance. And when death was arrested and my life began, sing it out, oh your grace. Oh, your grace, so free, washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love, it's your endless love, pouring down on us. You have made us know now begins with you. No Savior displayed on a criminal's cross, and darkness rejoiced as though heaven had lost. But then Jesus arose with our freedom in hand. That's when death was arrested and my life began. That's when death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace so free washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us know now life begins with you. You have made us know now life begins with you. And he is jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane, I am the tree. my chest. I don't have time to maintain easy grace when I think about the way that He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves. Yes, He loves. Yes, He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves. Yes, He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Yes, He loves us. He loves us. I'm coming back to the heart of worship when it's all about You. It's all about You, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing that made it. When it's all about You, it's all about You, Jesus. And I'm coming back to the heart of worship when it's all about You. It's all about You, Jesus. And I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I've made it. When it's all about You, yes it is. It's all about You, Jesus. And I'm coming back to worship when it's all about You. Yeah, and it's all about You, Jesus. And I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I made it. When it's all about You, yeah, it's all about You, Jesus. It's all about You, Jesus. It's all about You, Jesus. About Your presence, Lord. About the gospel, that we were once far away, and You chose to die and endure pain and death on a cross to be with us once more. Praise You, Jesus, in Your holy name. Amen.
Hi guys, you guys have a great crew here. I am not usually getting to see this. I have a daughter who leads with you guys, but I don't have any high schoolers anymore. So you guys are really blessed. Thanks for that worship time. That was awesome. And the rapping and the message, pretty good too. I just thank you guys for giving me a chance to be here. I'm Tricia McFarland with Mirror Ministries, and I'm going to ruin your night tonight talking about horrible things. But the good thing is, the good news is bigger than the bad news. And we, as children of the light, get to reflect God's grace and do something about this bad stuff. So there is bad, icky things happen in the world. Let's learn about what they are so we're wise and able to combat them in good ways. So Mirror Ministries, our mission is to respond to domestic minor sex trafficking with the love of Christ through education, intervention, restoration, and aftercare, all right here locally in the Tri-Cities. Yeah, really, right here in the Tri-Cities, there is an issue, and that's why we're here talking about it, because we want to make sure, we want to give you the tools. Hopefully parents are watching right now too. We want to give you the tools, both students and parents, to be able to know what it is, how to identify it, how to intervene, and how to prevent to begin with. So let's start by defining what sex trafficking is. Did a time with the middle school and tween group earlier this summer. I guess it's not summer anymore. A couple months ago. And I was real impressed. Those kids were pretty wise on what human trafficking was. So I think you guys probably all are too. But let's get the definitions down. So what is sex trafficking? It is the use of force, fraud, or coercion to exploit a person for commercial sexual activities. So the use of force, fraud, or coercion, those words might also be less technically defined as violence, lies, and threats. So violence could be, or force could be like kidnapping or assault, physical violence type of stuff. Fraud could be things like promises to fulfill basic needs, or promises of love, or promises of a good job. And coercion could be blackmailing someone, or debt bondage, threats to a victim or their family. So all of those big words come back down to that next line, that commercial. That big word commercial means anything exchanged in value. So anytime money is exchanged, or even a hamburger or other pictures or whatever it might be, along with those sexual activities, it upgrades this to a crime that we're talking about. So there's a big part of an or right after that, or any person under the age of 18 involved in a commercial sex act. So once that commercial part is there, if somebody's under the age of 18, we don't even have to prove that force, fraud, or coercion, because our society believes that somebody under the age of 18 can't make that kind of decision for themselves. We also don't believe they can decide to smoke, or vape, or vote, or rent a car, or a lot of other things. So it's not really surprising that we also don't believe they can't make this decision for themselves to be tortured and abused. So definition down, what does it look like? Is this really happening in the Tri-Cities? It is. If you look at the news headlines, you can see it for yourself. And then with the kids later in life, we'll be talking about some of the ways that looks and ways to help identify that a little bit more. But as parents, you're probably also wanting to figure out, how do we prevent this for our own kids? As students, hopefully you want to figure out, how do I prevent this for myself? But also for friends, how do I identify it if it's going on with friends or family members? So first things we're going to talk about is grooming by a predator. And that's because it's tricky people that are doing these things to other people. Quite often it's to children, youth, teenagers. It also happens to adults. So anybody who's got a vulnerability of any kind, which all of us do, even Taylor probably has some sort of vulnerability. Coffee. Threaten his coffee. Yeah. Maybe his wife might come above the coffee, but yeah. So that grooming by a predator is talking about, the word grooming isn't talking about grooming your hair, that kind of thing, but it's getting somebody ready and preparing them and making them ready to do what it is they're wanting to do, to exploit them. And that can happen in a variety of ways. And sometimes it happens in a really friendly, loving, not really friendly and loving, but it looks like a friendly and loving type of relationship that's being built. And sometimes it's in a very violent and coercive type of relationship. So let's look at some of those things on this list. Flattery, we're in that loving and kind thing, right? They're coming in, and the person who's wanting to exploit someone is, we call them tricky people. It's not stranger danger. More often than not, the person who's exploiting someone already knows them, or they've made themselves seem familiar and well-known. And right now, a lot of people are getting really well-known online, like this. Because most of our life right now is online, right? And it has been for a lot of years, but even more so these last 8 months. Somebody starts friending your student, yourself, your friend. They start friending them. They start telling them how wonderful, how smart, how beautiful they are, all those things that we really want to hear, but it's starting to really feed that person and draw their attention in. They might send gifts. They might get gifts in the mail from people that you don't know or they don't know too well. They might be given, all of a sudden they're wearing some fancy jeans or designer nails, whatever designer nails look like. Fancy things that they couldn't have afforded themselves, but somebody is flattering them and trying to get their attention and draw them away in different ways. They're going to start asking for personal information, and they're not going to necessarily say, Taylor, what's your house address? But they might say, Taylor, hey, don't you live next to Sagewood Elementary School? something like that, right? So they sound familiar when they say it. Oh, they must know who I am and where I live. And they start to ask more information. They might offer great things as they start finding out more information about you. They might find out that Taylor really loves coffee, so they're going to start offering Taylor things to get better coffee, more coffee. Coffee anytime he wants it, right? Maybe Taylor could be a professional model because he's so handsome. So they start telling him, hey, just do these things and we could get you this awesome modeling job. And, the other people in your life, Taylor, they don't understand. They don't understand how impressive you are, how amazing you are. But we're going to just convince Taylor all of these things. I mean, they're true, but we're going to really convince them, right? The person who's grooming someone is going to try to become very familiar, not only to that person, but maybe even to the family. So, okay. I talked about it's not stranger danger, right? Very often this person could be somebody in your life already. And I don't want to poison you to think that everybody out there is bad because most people are good. Well, we're all sinners, but most people are relatively good. But it could be a coach, for instance, and a coach who suddenly is taking interest in one child more than another. Or a coach who, or a person at church who starts to make friends with the family and starts to get well known by the family and then starts offering to do things alone with the kids, that kind of thing. There's a lot of good people. Don't think everybody's a creep, but beware of some of those warning signs. Secret conversations. Hopefully you guys have talked with your kids about you're not supposed to have secrets, right? There's a difference between having a surprise party or not telling what the birthday gift is than having secrets. So if somebody's asking you not to tell that you're having a relationship with them or you're having these conversations with them, it's a big red flag. If you see a friend or a child who's having those same kind of issues, it's a red flag, it's a warning. Something's going on, and start asking some questions to intervene. Isolation is a big one. So if you think of things like domestic violence or really bad teen relationships where somebody's trying to pull someone away from everybody else they know. They want this, we'll use the word victim. They want the victim. None of us want to be a victim, right? But the person who's being exploited, the victim, the exploiter or the groomer, wants to start getting them pulled away from their family. So they're trusting only that groomer, only that predator. And they're going to start telling them, your mom and dad, they just don't understand you, right? Your friends over there, they're so immature. They don't understand how special we have it and how impressive and amazing you are. They're going to start pulling them away. So the thing is trafficking victims, mom and dad, and kids, most of the trafficking victims aren't violently kidnapped and disappear. Most trafficking victims still live in their house and are called out to do things on a regular basis that nobody wants to have to do. But they've been so isolated, even right there where they're living, that they're easy to manipulate and trick and coerce into doing those things. Sometimes then it looks like that kiddo has run away, and when they run away, it looks like a runaway, but it's somebody who's been tricked and coerced into doing this relationship that they think is a healthy thing and find out that there's really bad things going on. You guys can see some of those other things. A groomer is going to start possibly sending sexually explicit material or request the kids to start sending pictures to them. Hey kids, did you know that anytime you put a picture or information out on the internet, you no longer have any control over it? It could go on forever and ever and be seen by millions of people. I'm not kidding. You can't get it back. If you think maybe it's not a good idea to send that picture you're thinking about sending, don't send it. You never, ever have control over it again once you send that. That groomer is also going to be blaming that victim once something's going on. They're going to put that shame and that blame on that victim so that they're afraid to come and tell mom and dad or even other trusted adults what's going on because they feel like it's their fault by the time these things are going. And then sometimes it just starts out like bullying, right? And then as that relationship, that love-hate relationship goes on, those threats come in from there. Did you know that 69% of teens report that they're regularly receiving messages from strangers? and they're never telling a parent about it. So parents, what I need you to do is really open lines of communication up so that you're talking to your kids on a regular, everyday basis, that this is normal conversation about tricky, manipulative people, and about if they've done something wrong or feel like they've done something wrong or are afraid to come and talk to you because they think they might be in trouble, that they always have a free pass. I've even heard of some parents giving a get-out-of-jail-free card, like from Monopoly, to their kids, and tell the kids to hold on to that card. If you feel like this is something that I really need to come and talk to you about, but I'm afraid you're going to get really mad and flip your lid, I can give you the get-out-of-jail-free card first. Mom and dad know they need to take a breath for a minute and prepare, and then the kids can come in and have that conversation. So some of the signs you might see if you're looking at somebody who's being groomed, you might see them becoming really secretive about the activities that are going on around. They might become really obsessed with their phone or being online. And they might be getting phone calls and text messages or other messages from people you don't know, names you don't recognize. And they're going to be doing that withdrawing from family and friends. Their attitude and their demeanor are going to change from the kid that you've always known. So that friend is suddenly acting strange. They suddenly have an older boyfriend, another older gal they're hanging out with. Did you know that this trafficking can also happen to boys? Boys, girls, doesn't matter. People are mean and manipulative when it comes to this stuff. That last line there, you're going to see kids that are going to start doing self-harm. You're going to see kids that are going to start doing drugs. And you're going to see kids that are going to start running away. These are not normal behaviors from them from before. Start asking questions and dig a little deeper. There may be something really deep and insidious going on there. So the internet is not all bad. It has great things. I'm not talking about certain apps that are horrible. There's some really good apps where we've seen kids get groomed and tricked and exploited. Things like YouBible app, really. Gaming apps and coloring apps and puzzle apps, things that are very innocent, but there's tricky, manipulative people out there. So how do you place some guidelines out there? We know how to talk about strangers out in the community. How about those strangers we're inviting into our home online? You're going to have several different levels of protection. You're going to want to look at network and provider levels of protection, mom and dad. That's your job. But I don't have all that technical stuff to tell you, but we can give you links that Emily can send you where you can learn more about that. You also have different types of protections on each device that you have. There's all kinds of privacy settings you can use. So kids, students, parents, y'all need to be using those privacy settings on your devices as well. And then every app you use has another set of privacy and protection on there. Put those things into use. There's a good reason for them. But that last one, personal internal filter level, okay? No matter, parents, how much you try to protect your kids and put every protection and every bolt and lock on the door, they still go out in the world. They have laptops for school, they go to a friend's house, all those things. You need to teach your kids, students, you need to teach yourselves about how to have that own filter control. If you see something bad going on, what are you going to do about it? Make plans ahead of time, role play with your folks, role play at church with different friends and leaders. What are the ways you're going to respond when somebody does message you, when somebody sends nasty pictures, when somebody asks you to do something, or when you see something happening with a friend? How are you going to respond? And practice those things ahead of time, because your personal filter is the one that's always going to be with you no matter where you go. And we have a really good guide for a personal filter in the Bible and a living guide that lives within us, the Holy Spirit. Make good use of those. Parents, it's real. Over 2,000 buyers in 24 hours tried to buy sex with a minor out of a Seattle Against Slavery chatbot sting they were doing. So this was a fake child, thankfully, but they were testing to see what kind of response they were going to get. That's a lot of action, that's a lot of demand out there, and we're seeing some similar stuff right here in Tri-Cities. We can tell you more about that if you want to talk with us. So what do you do? Parents, what do you do? Students, if you run into something where you see a friend is having problems, if you see a child is having problems, even if you see a parent is having problems, first thing, remain calm. If you panic, they'll probably stop talking to you because they're afraid they've really upset you. Don't delete So if you've been sent bad stuff or requested bad stuff, don't delete those posts. You want to report those first because we want to catch these guys before they try to trick somebody else. You can call 911, or if it's not an emergency at that moment, call non-emergency police dispatch. Make sure that you're not punishing and shaming your child for coming forward and talking to you about this. Open up with grace and easy conversation. Along with that reporting, there's a cyber tip line through National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And you can always call Mirror Ministries hotline number 509-212-9995. But do get professional help because this is tough stuff, but it's not too tough for our Savior. So thanks for listening, and students, we'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much, Trisha. That was very helpful. I hope, parents, if you're watching, I hope that you feel better equipped on how to deal with this. And students, I hope that you're also getting a better understanding of what this is and ways to protect yourself as well. So just a couple things. First of all, we have an in-person service at 6:30 in the Hub on Sunday nights. If you are able and you would like to come, you're always welcome to come to that. We are starting off a new series next Sunday, so we would love to see you guys there. And also, we do have high school small groups. If you are not involved in one yet, we would love to get you connected. So you can go ahead and reach out to us either through our email or on Instagram or some way, and we can help get you guys connected. But thank you guys for watching. We hope you have a great rest of your night.